Assalamualaikum students. Hello. And so today's our topic is cardiomyopathies. So first of all, we will see the introduction or what is cardiomyopathies. So in 2006, AHA defined cardiomyopathies as it's a heterogeneous group of diseases of the myocardium that is associated with the mechanical or electrical dysfunction that usually but not invariably exhibit inappropriate ventricular hypertrophy or dilatation and are due to a variety of causes that frequently are genetic. So cardiomyopathies they either are confined to the heart. So more in majority of the cases they are confined to the only heart or are a part of generalized systemic disorders. Okay, next we will see what is the functional classification of cardiomyopathies, or we will see what comes in cardiomyopathies. So in first of all there is dilated cardiomyopathy, second is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, and the third is restrictive cardiomyopathy, and fourth there is arrhythmogenic right ventricular disease that is also called ARVD. So first of all, we will discuss the dilated cardiomyopathy. Okay, but first of all, we will see what is the definition of dilated cardiomyopathy or what is actually dilated cardiomyopathy. So primary, as you know, in primary cases, it is always idiopathic. It's a disease of unknown etiology that principally affects the myocardium, leading to left ventricular dilation and systolic dysfunction. So most common of the it is also dilated cardiomyopathy. It is most common of all the cardiomyopathies. So now come to the causes. What are the causes of this dilated cardiomyopathies? So first of all, it can be due to genetic influences. It means there is no known cause, and it can be due to any cause. It can be due to genetic influences that will result in the dilated cardiomyopathy. And in 20 to 50% cases, they are familiar and they are autosomal dominant, means predominant pattern, and there can be mutations in genes encoding the dystrophin and sarcoglycans, troponin T and beta MHC, etc. And the causes there it can be due to some myocarditis, and it can also be due to alcohol and other toxins. And it can also occur in childbirth, like in peripartum. That is will be childbirth में भी हो सकती है. That we will call it peripartum cardiomyopathy. So in next picture you will see this is a normal heart and this is a heart. This is a heart showing dilated cardiomyopathy. As you can see in normal heart there is a first of all ऊपर सबसे aorta है and this is the right atrium and this is right atrium and left atrium. And while when you see into the dilated cardiomyopathy, you will see that there is enlarged left atrium and enlarged right atrium. Okay, the size of the right and left atrium it is enlarged. in dilated cardiomyopathies, always remember there will be right and left atrium, they will be enlarged, and when we see the right ventricle and left ventricle, they will be also enlarged in dilated cardiomyopathy. It means that in right atrium, left atrium, right ventricle and left ventricle, they are enlarged in dilated cardiomyopathy. Okay, when the ventricles and atrium, they are enlarged, what will be the cause? Then it will cause, the thin wall of these ventricles and atrium. As you can see in this picture, this is a thin wall. Due to dilatation, the walls of the ventricles, they are thin, and the overall size will be also enlarged. So next, what is the morphology? Morphology means there is heart. As I have already told you, the heart size of the heart will be enlarged. So heart will be enlarged. It will be heavy and it will be also flabby. When you okay, then when we ask you morphology, it means you will tell about macroscopic and microscopic. Macroscopic means or gross. You can also call it gross. Gross means when you can see with the naked eye, and microscopically when you will examine this under the microscope. Okay. Then in morphology you will tell both the gross and microscopic features. Okay, in gross features there will be heart will be enlarged, it will be heavy and it will be flabby, and there will be mural thrombi will be also seen, and these are very common in these cases. Okay, and the second, there will be dilatation of all the chambers. You can also see with the naked eye, and both ventricles, there will be both ventricles hypertrophy. Okay, remember these 3 points. That heart will be enlarged, it will be heavy, flabby, and the second, mural thrombi will be also seen, and there will be dilatation of the all the chambers. It means all the right, left atrium, and right and left ventricles. And both ventricles, there will be hypertrophy of both ventricles. And when we see on the microscope, what are the microscopic features? Microscopic features where you will see there will be atrophic and hypertrophic myocardial fibers. Okay, remember there will be atrophic and hypertrophic myocardial fibers, and there will be cardiac myocytes. They will show degenerative changes, and there will be interstitial and endocardial fibrosis will be seen. So in morphology, you see the gross and microscopic, and then now come to the clinical features. What are the clinical features, or how the patient will present to the clinician? Okay, in clinical features, there will be highest incidence in, first of all, is the highest incidence in middle age, and the symptoms may be gradual in onset, and there will be always acute presentation. And the next, can be misdiagnosed as viral URI in young adults. It can also present in this form, and the symptoms and signs of heart failure can also be seen in these patients, and there can also be pulmonary congestion. Pulmonary congestion will lead to the left heart failure, dyspnea, and dyspnea, it means there will be a rest exertional, and dyspnea can be on the rest पे भी आपको dyspnea मिलेगा, and the dyspnea can also be in the form of exertional. When you have some exertion, then there can also be dyspnea, and the dyspnea can also be nocturnal. And the second, they can also be orthopnea. Okay, there's systemic congestion, that is in right heart failure, and there can also be there will be edema, nausea, and there can also be nocturia and abdominal pain. So these are the clinical features, and there can also be some lower cardiac output, and there can be hypotension, tachycardia, tachypnea, and weakness, fatigue, arrhythmias, and atrial fibrillation can be occurs, and there can also be some conduction delay or sudden death can also occur in this patient. So these are the clinical features in dilated cardiomyopathy. Remember, cardiomyopathy is dilated cardiomyopathy is also very, very important. So you should know first of all what is dilated cardiomyopathy, or what is the definition of dilated cardiomyopathy, and second you will know the what is the morphology, what is the gross and what is the microscopic feature. And next will be what are the clinical features of this cardiomyopathy. Okay, and this is a picture showing a gross, and this is a gross, and this is a microscopic picture showing dilated cardiomyopathy. Okay, next come to the dilated cardiomyopathy. What is the incidence and prognosis in this cardiomyopathy? So the prevalence is 36 per 100,000 population, and third most common cause of dilated cardiomyopathy. This is the third most common cause of heart failure, and this is more frequent cause of heart transplantation. Okay, remember, and complete recovery is very rare. And 50% patients they die within 2 years, and 25% they survive longer than 5 years. So this is the incidence and prognosis of dilated cardiomyopathy. Okay, and next come to the hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So okay, what is in hypertrophic cardiomyopathy? It is characterized by myocardial hypertrophy, abnormal diastolic filling, and intermittent ventricular outflow obstruction. And it is always related to defects in fourth generation owing to the altered sarcomeric function. And it is the left leading cause of left ventricular hypertrophy, and unexplained by the other clinical and pathological cause. And it can also be caused by the mutations of genes that are encoding the sarcomeric protein. So now come to the pathogenesis. What is the pathogenesis? It is autosomal dominant with variable penetrance and remaining or sporadic, and the mutations they are mostly missing. And the mutations causing hypertrophic cardiomyopathy they are found in genes encoding beta MHC and cardiac, and there can be alpha tropomyosin and myosin binding protein. So the major abnormality of the heart in hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is there is excessive thickening of the muscle. As the name indicates, there is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. It means there is excessive thickening of the muscle, and the thickening usually it begins during early adolescence and stops when growth has finished. So it is uncommon for thickening to progress after this stage. And left ventricle almost always affected in hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. May mostly in majority of the cases you will see that the left ventricle will be always affected, and hypertrophy is usually greatest in the septum, and it is also associated with obstruction to the flow of blood into the aorta. Okay, and so this is the picture showing hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. This is, as you can see, there is asymmetric septal hypertrophy, ASH. We will indicate इसमें आपने ASH से लिखा हुआ है, that is asymmetric septal hypertrophy, while on the mitral valve in normal position. So the mitral valve is in normal position and the cavity reduced in size. When there is asymmetric on the right side, there is asymmetric septal hypertrophy, and then the cavity is reduced in size. So asymmetric septal hypertrophy with obstruction to the flow of blood from the heart, it may occur, and the mitral valve touches the septum and it's blocking the outflow of blood. Some blood is leaking back through the mitral valve, causing the mitral regurgitation. Okay, this is again a picture of that is showing the hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. There is asymmetric septal hypertrophy with the obstruction. Now it comes with the obstruction. As you can say, there is asymmetric septal hypertrophy, and there is blood leaks back through the mitral valve, and it means there is mitral regurgitation is seen in this case. and the mitral valve it will presses against the septum, causing obstruction to blood flow. So what will it do? There will be blood will be back leak to the mitral valve, and there will be, it is called mitral regurgitation will be seen. And there will be also systolic anterior motion of the mitral valve. Okay, and now come to the histological features. What are the histological feature in hypertrophic cardiomyopathy? So this is the microscopic picture. Histologically or microscopically, you will see these fibers in this form, and there is extensive myocyte hypertrophy. These are the myocytes are shown in this picture, and there is extensive myocyte hypertrophy and the myofiber disarray, and there is also interstitial and replacement fibrosis is also seen. Okay, now come to the pathophysiology of what is the pathophysiology? You will see the impaired diastolic filling, and there will be reduced stroke volume. So this impaired diastolic, and there will be also reduced carbon monoxide and increase in firm venous pressure, and that will cause it will cause the exertional dyspnea in this case. And there can also be diastolic dysfunction. Diastolic dysfunction will be found in these cases, it will cause the impaired diastolic filling and filling pressure. But will be in diastolic function. Diastolic function means there will be impaired diastolic filling and there will be filling pressure. Okay, and there can be myocardial ischemia when it is not functioning proper. There, what will be see? You will see the myocardial ischemia and mitral regurgitation, जो कि मैंने आपको अभी पिछली स्लाइड में दिखाई है, mitral regurgitation का, ठीक है, and there can also be some arrhythmia. Okay, now come to the clinical features. Clinical features में the patient it can be with, and clinical features may patient it may be asymptomatic or it may be symptomatic. But will be in asymptomatic patients, you will see there will be echocardiographic finding only, and it means that when you go for the when you go to the clinician or to the specialist, then you will see he will do the echocardiography. Then he will find some finding, but otherwise the patient will be totally asymptomatic. There will be no history of dyspnea or arrhythmias. Okay, when the patient is symptomatic, what will you see? There will be dyspnea in 90% cases, and harsh systolic ejection murmur will be seen, and there can also be angina pectoris in 75% cases. Okay, and along with these features, you will see the fatigue, pre-syncope, syncope, risk of SCD, and there can be some palpitations, chronic heart failure, there can be dizziness, and there can be thromboembolism, and atrial fibrillation can also be seen. Okay, the next cardiomyopathy, this is restrictive cardiomyopathy. Okay, what is in restrictive cardiomyopathy? There is a hallmark of abnormal diastolic function. There will be abnormal diastolic function, and there will be rigid ventricular wall. There will be rigid ventricular wall with impaired ventricular filling. When the ventricular wall will be rigid, it will not allow the proper ventricular filling, and there can be contractile function will be normal. Okay, with rigid ventricular wall, what will be the contractile functions will be normal, but there will be impaired ventricular filling. So this is much less common than dilated cardiomyopathy or hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. This is less common. Okay, the most common was dilated cardiomyopathy. Okay, and it is characterized by primary disease in ventricular compliance resulting in impaired ventricular filling during diastole. Okay, now come to the causes. What are the causes that cause this? Okay, restrictive cardiomyopathy. First of all, when you see the primary causes, in primary causes, it will be always idiopathic. Means there is no known cause, and but it can be associated with radiation fibrosis, and it can also be associated with other diseases, like it can be associated with the sarcoidosis and with amyloidosis, and it can be associated with the other metastatic tumors, and metabolic deposition diseases can also be there. Okay, now come to its morphology. What is a morphology? In morphology, the ventricles, they are of normal size, the cavities, they are not dilated, and the myocardium is firm and non-compliant. Okay, ventricles will be of normal size, cavities will be not dilated, and but the myocardium is firm and non-compliant, and there will be biatrial dilatation is uh, very common in these cases, and there can be patchy and diffuse interstitial fibrosis. So these are the all points of this its morphology. Okay, now come to the clinical manifestations. What are the clinical manifestations in restrictive cardiomyopathy? First of all, you will see the symptoms of right and left heart failure, and on echo Doppler, what will you see? There will be abnormal mitral inflow pattern, and there can be prominent E wave that is due to rapid diastolic filling. And almost invariably, it can progress to the congestive heart failure, and the survival rate will be 10%, and it can be for 10 years. Okay, I have told you it can be associated with other diseases like sarcoidosis and amyloidosis. Now, but we will see what is in amyloidosis. In amyloidosis, cardiac enlargement, there will be always cardiac enlargement without ventricular dilatation. And they can be ventricular walls, they are thickened and they are rubbery in consistency. And there will be what will be found in amyloidosis. You can find some amyloid deposition is most prominent. Okay, as the name indicates, it is associated with the amyloidosis. So in amyloidosis, you will always find the myeloid deposition. It will be most prominent in interstitial, in which way it will be found in interstitial, perivascular, and endocardial region. So remember this point. So this is endomyocardial diseases, and in the left side you can see there is a endomyocardial fibrosis, and on the left there is Loeffler's endomyocarditis. So in endomyocarditis, you can see these are the points which are showing these normalities, and there is also Loeffler's endomyocarditis in this right picture. Okay, what is the arrhythmogenic right ventricular cardiomyopathy? This is always inherited disease of cardiac muscle, and right ventricular failure, there will be rhythmic disturbances, and there will be also ventricular tachycardia and fibrillation. So right ventricular wall will be thin, and there will be extensive fatty infiltration, and fibrosis will be also thick. And it is also autosomal dominant in. Okay, thank you, students. If you have any queries, you can ask in our group, or you can ask now. You can raise your hand. मैं unmute कर सकती हूँ? हाँ, रोल कर दिया। लो, अच्छा इसको लो। Okay, students, can you tell me, Namra Shabir, can you tell me क्या क्या चीजें हैं कार्डियोमायोपैथीज में, कौन कौन सी आती हैं? Can you tell me the just names? Okay, who is Saroj Fatma? Can you tell answer the question? Tell me the names of cardiomyopathies. Cardiomyopathies में क्या क्या आता है? Alisha Shafiq. Alisha Shafiq, can you hear me? हम्म? हाँ, खुद म्यूट करके चले जाते हैं ना, रिस्पॉन्ड ही नहीं करते, देखना आज तो अनम्यूट कर रही हूँ लेकिन। अलाइबा सलीम। आफ्ताब अहमद।
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me? Alaiba Salim.
Yes, ma'am.
Answer this question.
Ma'am, question repeat कर दें. Ma'am, question repeat कर दें.
चलो ठीक है। ये बिल्कुल आंसर नहीं है। अभी उन्होंने आना है, तो सुना ही नहीं ये।